Welcome to All Nature Connected, a podcast created by the Forest Bathing Institute, where we explore all nature connected topics, including nature and health, nature inspired lifestyle, nature connection and forest bathing, nature preservation, and eco awareness. We hope that this podcast will inspire you to become more connected with nature and your own health and well-being.
Hello everyone, this is Olga from the Forest Bathing Institute, and this is All Nature Connected podcast. And today we have a very lovely guest on our podcast, Elisabetta. And Elisabetta is our guide, forest bathing guide. She recently qualified. And today I would like to talk to Elisabetta about her journey becoming a forest bathing plus guide with us. So hello, Elisabetta, nice to have you with us. So if you would like to share, how did you become interested in forest bathing in the first place?
Hello, Olga. Hello, everyone. Forest bathing journey, it's quite interesting. I was in a job that wasn't really making me happy. And I was looking to make another step. But I really did not know what to do. And I had all sorts of physical problems, and I felt really low. I felt really stuck. Then I thought, okay, let's stop this job and I will try and find what I can do next. So I did, but it was late 2019. And obviously, as soon as I stopped, quite a few months later, lockdown happened. And of course, like many people, I also experienced loss and I felt a lot of fear. So it wasn't an ideal, at the time, I thought it was not an ideal time to look for a professional career. Somehow, whatever happened in lockdown probably helped. I was meditating a lot in my garden. I was doing a lot of breath work. I took a lot of walks in the forest, and I was doing a lot of yoga as well. And then I did a few courses, but still I had no idea what I wanted to do. Then one day I was coming back from visiting my parents, and I was actually away for nearly 6 weeks. And while I was on the plane, I think it must have been a magazine on the plane, I saw the name Shinrin-yoku, forest bathing. So I wrote it down in my diary, and I thought, okay, I'm going to Google it as soon as I get back to London. I live in London. Go to London, as we all know, such a hectic life. I completely forgot about Shinrin-yoku. Just a few weeks later, I was baking a birthday cake for my son, and I thought, forest bathing, what is that? What is forest bathing? So I start Googling. I read a few things, and then I watched a video, and I thought, but this is what I want to do. This is really what I want to do. And I felt really excited. And I thought, okay, what should I do to qualify? So I looked at the courses available, and I found the Forest Bathing Institute. And I thought, okay, this is where I want to study. I want to learn from the best. I immediately knew it was the right place for me to go, and I was enrolled within a few days, and that was honestly the quickest decision ever in my life. I never decided so quickly, and that's how I started. Yes, and somehow a lot of things which, they can go on and on, a lot of things that happened probably 3 years before I made this choice. It seemed like jigsaw puzzles, and somehow I bought books on trees, but I never read them. Or there were little things that happened that made me now realize, that's why. There were little messages, but obviously I didn't see them. I probably needed my own time to to find my way and to realize that that was really what I wanted to do. I thought this is really for me.
This is such a beautiful story, Elisabetta. It's just, you know, we do hear from so many students, so many people, that they felt something was drawing them to the course, to forest bathing. And then, yeah, same as you, they were interested in some courses, in forests, in trees, and they were reading. And then finally they come to our course. And thank you so much for saying that you found it was suitable for you, our training. And for me, it's amazing, because you're talking about 2019, where you were thinking about changing your profession. Well, when we did a session for the corporate client, was it a month ago? So maybe a month and a half ago. And I was talking to you, and you were telling me how you spend pretty much most of your days outside now. And for someone who wasn't even thinking of doing it as a career, and now it becoming your lifestyle, I think it's such an inspiration. And that's really what we want to encourage in everyone whom we teach, and also our team, embodiment, and also coming close to nature and out of this passion for nature, doing what you love, helping other people. So thank you so much for sharing. And I would really love to hear what you think were the highlights for you of our training, if you can share with us a bit, please.
Yes, sure. There were quite a few. The highlights, first of all, I felt, as soon as I joined the course, I felt an immediate connection with the tutors and the other people on the course, the colleagues. It was obviously being held on Zoom, but somehow it felt like we understood each other, that we had so much in common. And it was incredible that when we actually met months later, face to face, it felt like we knew each other for years. And the highlights, really, this highlight is how from few conversations and going through this journey together, we build such a friendship, and we just help each other, and we have a great support. So that's the first one I can think of. And the other one definitely will be also how the course is also based on the science and the research and the studies, because in my professional and my academic path, I've always chosen humanistic subjects. So for me, science was not something I was very familiar. And it was a revelation that I could actually sit down and read medical papers and enjoy them and learn so much from it. Of course, the very top highlight was the training in the forest. The one we did towards the end. After the theory, we went and we had 4 days training in Surrey, and I spent an extra day. I didn't rush. I arrived a day early, left the day after, because I really wanted to have my time. And that was the first time I took 5 days just for myself for probably 23 years or so. And it felt so special. It was incredible how we could put in practice what we learned from the module 1, from the mindfulness and meditation, and what we learned with the module 2 in the theory. And we were there in the forest like a family and completely relaxed. And it was really one of the most special experiences of my life. I felt when I left Surrey and I was heading back to London, I was crying. I thought, I want to turn back. I want to go back to Surrey. I want to be in the woods, because the first 2 days in the Harry Edwards Sanctuary, it was so healing. And Newlands Corner, it was magical with the ancient trees, the huge trees. And I thought, okay, if I feel this way, that means I really made a good choice. This is really where I want to be. That's having this feeling. That means I'm really happy of what I'm doing. That was so exciting.
I'm so excited actually to hear that, because the idea for Gary and me starting the Forest Bathing Institute, it was a community of people who felt drawn to nature and drawn to each other just because we had a similar passion, we had similar interests, and out of that passion, helping nature, helping others, and just feeling that in your experience, as far as I could hear, it also felt the same or similar, and that our idea, which we started years ago when we were planning to build some organization to help promote nature connection, it feels like it is now spreading all over to the students. And, you know, hearing how you felt in that 5 days, I think that whenever I'm doing an interview, I always say, it feels like if we want to help others, we need to start with ourselves. And nature connection starts with our connection with nature that we then share with others. And it feels like your process was very natural, first connecting yourself, being interested in nature, having this feeling of you're taking care of yourself, you want to come back. And we do indeed, it's very, it's very much a feeling that you want to do again, have again, because it's addictive. Nature is good for us. It's our state, natural state of being. We want to be closer to it. And also having people around you. I feel every time I come and see students, it feels like I've met them before. I don't feel like I'm teaching them. I feel like we are sharing similar experience. We're learning from each other. We're learning from nature. And there's just such immense sense of joy. And same with papers. I'm a humanitarian myself. I was doing a bachelor's degree in philosophy at King's College in London. And I never felt so drawn to science before I found forest bathing and nature connection. And now any paper I read on nature, it's fascinating. So I think it's just a matter of finding what you love, and then there are so many expressions of it. And I'm so happy that you found this expression that you feel is right for you. And maybe if you would like to just share, Elisabetta, a few challenges that you have come across during your training, and how you have overcome them.
Yes, the first challenge was actually during the studies. It was very hard to find my headspace, not because I didn't want to, just because obviously the stage of my life I am at. Of course, doing the little courses was easy. It didn't require so much commitment. But if I think about the last time I took a serious commitment to study was in my early 20s, when I went to university, and it was all about me and provided by myself. And obviously now with the responsibility of being a mother and a daughter to elderly parents, that meant that often I had to leave my studies alone and care for other people, often having to last minute take a flight. And what I really wanted to do was take the manual, get all the books, sit under the tree and just study. And so I felt frustrated. There was a bit of, I really wanted to do it. And what really helped me was the support of the tutors, the support of my colleagues, because they all said to me, be kind of what's happening in your life and your personal situation, and be patient and take your time. It is your own journey. And that really helped me to relax a little bit about it and feel and letting go of this need of wanting to be always in front of the books. And I knew it had to be that way. So that was a good advice. The other challenge was once I finished the training and I had to do the case studies, I found it really difficult to find a location to start with. Because when I joined the course, I thought, oh, yes, great. I can do it in Hampstead Heath, beautiful ancient forest, not far from my house. But it wasn't like that. So I found it really hard. Being in London, of course, finding the right green space that has not many people, not so much noise of the traffic. It's very difficult living in central London. And then obviously, once I found certain places I could go, I have rejection letters from the landowners. And I remember one saying, we don't let a reserve, a natural reserve, to be used as a commercial venture. And I thought, Forest Bathing Plus is not really commercial. I felt it's not about making money. It's about helping people. It's about helping people to connect with nature and enjoy nature together. So it was very, it took me a few months to find a place. And I'm really grateful to my colleague, Nigel, because he was the one who introduced me to Burnham Beaches. And I was very excited when they said I could do the case studies there. And I once I started, and I was very pleased, because I know it's not far, it's not very close to me, but still it's worth it. The journey, the 40 minutes journey, it's worth it. And it's a beautiful forest. And there was, it happened. So again, with a bit of patience and help from others. The other big challenge was me speaking in front of people, because in all my jobs, all the jobs I've done in my career, I was always at the backstage. I did everything at the computer. Yes, of course, I would talk to people, but on a one-to-one, I would never speak in front of a group. And when I realized I had to do that, I knew it was completely outside my comfort zone. And I thought, how can I overcome that? And I know, the advice that the trainers gave me, practice at home, practice outdoor. It didn't really work for me. I felt so awkward to speak when nobody was listening. And so what happened? I think the forest helped me, because as soon as I got into the forest, the fear went. It felt like the trees took away my fear. It felt like the woodland was supporting me, and there was no fear anymore. I was there. And I just could share my love for Forest Bathing Plus, my love for nature. And of course, the feedback from the participants was so positive, so actually incredibly touching. They really boosted my confidence. And so I'm actually very, very shocked that I'm doing this, and very, very grateful of what I've becoming, and what nature is giving me.
That's just something that resonates so deeply with me, because I think when we do embark on this journey of working with nature, it's really like a partnership. And sometimes if it feels like maybe you're not at your best, or maybe you are shy, maybe you are anxious, nature can have your back. And that's why Gary's motto is that he can have any meeting, no matter what hard it is, as long as it's in nature, because then nature can support him, can nourish him, can make him calmer, and make him make the wisest decisions. And in fact, I have stage fright. So that's something I always wanted to do, speak in front of people, share what we do, but I have stage fright. So I'm shy, I have stage fright. But whenever I go into the forest or a park, any natural environment, it doesn't feel that I'm actually doing any public speaking, even though I am. I'm just sharing from my heart what feels right for me, what feels my passion, and it just flows out of me with the help of nature. It doesn't, it's not like I'm even doing anything. I'm just sharing, enjoying, being happy, and bringing myself lots of joy out of it. So I think there's so much magic, and it just feels such a wonderful thing to hear from your experience as well, Elisabetta. And I know you did have a few challenges that you were talking about. And I know that for me, for myself, as I'm studying now as well, I'm doing my own studies. It doesn't always feel like we can do it as we used to, maybe when we were students, because we might have other commitments, jobs, families to take care of. But it just, I think it feels right you still take time. And we always say, sometimes the journey takes longer, sometimes the journey takes less time. So appreciating that it's your journey to nature connection. And the more you can appreciate your journey, the more you can give to people after you have completed your training. Of course, you'll be learning afterwards. We're still learning all the time, but it's just your time to connect. And it just feels so right that you manage to appreciate that process and give yourself a bit more time, despite the challenges. And we're still working with lots of locations, and we have beautiful locations all across the country, RSPB, Kew Gardens, National Trusts, and others, which we are so grateful for. But one of our parts of our organization is working at spreading awareness about what we do and why it's important to be doing these sessions in natural environments. And we don't, unfortunately, even have that much of nature left in the UK. And how it's important to share it also with vulnerable people, people who don't necessarily have easy access to nature. So yeah, that's a very big part of it. And that's probably a topic for a different interview, maybe with Gary, who's working on opening our doors. But that's definitely a big part of our organization. We definitely want to change the mentality and be a part of this movement to make nature accessible to all people. So thank you for sharing that. So my last question would be, what would be your advice for someone who is looking to train with us to become a Forest Bathing Plus guide?
I would say definitely follow your intuitions, because I think there were little signals that probably I could have listened to it earlier in my time, but I suppose I did it when it was right. And also to just, if you start the journey, be patient. As you said, it's your own journey in your own time. This is not a competitive environment. It's really, we are like a big family. We help each other, and just to go for it, because I think also not only helps you with learning a lot of the aspect of the forest bathing and the trees and the science, but it also helps to know yourself. I think that's really what happened to me while doing this course. It was not just a professional journey, it was a very personal journey. And in a way, I found my essence, I found my purpose, but I also really discovered things I have forgotten about me, in how much I love being in nature, and how much I love to help people and help people to realize this connection with nature, and how amazing it is to be creative in nature as well. So I could use my creativity. I would say my advice, just go for it, because you will never regret it. It's a skill for life that it will help you in many, many ways.
And I'm so happy, Elisabetta, that you shared about that part of the journey to become a forest bathing guide, because I think many people, when they look at the training, they just look at the outside shell, which is, of course, you'll be trained to lead other people, but there is a whole lot. And I would say it's like an iceberg. There is maybe 90% is underneath the water, only 10% on the surface. But the job that you do, the work that you do underneath the surface, that can bring so much to you. And I know some people who did our training, the circumstances were that they couldn't lead groups. Their circumstances, maybe they had kids or they had to move. They didn't necessarily have time to lead the sessions, but they still took this opportunity and completed training just so that they can help themselves, and they still are connected with nature. They still go into nature and feel such a benefit. And of course, we say out of this passion, and that's why we're always looking for people who are passionate about nature and passionate about connecting with nature first themselves, to then share it with others. And then I think if you do have this connection, if you keep it going, even after the training, you can help a lot of people and you will be happy with it. It's a sustainable model and it will keep you and nourishing helping other people. So I'm so grateful for your interview today, Elisabetta. And I will put a few of your social media details for people to find you and your forest bathing events in the description. And Elisabetta's account is fantastic as well if you enjoy the nature photographs, because she has beautiful nature photographs. So thank you, Elisabetta, and I hope to speak to you at some point soon.
Thank you, Olga. Thank you. Bye-bye.